Let me drag some tokens in. There's a number of camps similar to this. You see what looks like a fighting ground in the center of numerous tents, troughs for horses and things of that nature. And as you are escorted in to meet with Gorata Shan, you see the man himself. As you're making your way through, you also see a few beds with some wounded soldiers. I'll say that through the traveling through and moving about, you could have used some recoveries. So if you want to use some recoveries, you could do so. I'm not so heartless as to deny you this.
Yes.
There you go ahead and remove your staggered markers. As you approach, Goro Ata looks over and says, all right then, dragon spawn. He looks over, he says, excuse me, I thought I was clear, soldier. The trooper who brought you in, just his eyes wide. Sorry, sir. Sorry, absolutely. He comes over and says to Thorold, I'm sorry, sir, but you are to be excluded from this meeting.
If I may, he will be needed. He is among the experts. We've relied on his wisdom to hunt what currently ails the city.
Make a charisma check, Stas.
Look meaningfully around at the camp as well.
Clan speaker. Yeah, make charisma check with clan speaker. You... I recall you having this sort of lip the last time we met, Dragon Spawn.
I shrug and say, it's been a long day, and I figure the more people we can save, it doesn't matter who they are. The undead don't discriminate.
Then I suppose it will be the first time in my long career that an orc has made their way into my camp. But know this, anything he does that is out of order will reflect on you, and the punishment will be yours as well. So keep your pet in line.
Take a deep breath, and then kneel and subservience.
Don't make him angry.
Hey, I'm kneeling.
So then, do you have a cure to this particular ailment?
We have the ability to, at present, to stop its final progression. However...
Very well, I have several of my soldiers I would like for you to perform this minor miracle upon.
We've only just begun production.
yeah,
but
we're gonna need a lot more.
Be right on the top of the list.
Can you produce it here?
No, our scientists is locked in their lab to prevent all contamination.
Where's your scientist? I'll send word.
He is currently securing additional stock of I don't want to call it a cure. It's more of the stopgap measure.
The treatment.
Treatment, yes, that would work. And trying to determine a final cure. I don't mean to be forward, but could we perhaps talk somewhere a bit more private? The walls have ears.
Very well. He'll go into his tent and invite you in. And
I'll just before we enter the tent, is like he enters the tent and we're following. I'll just whisper to Azara, is like, this might be your opportunity to get what your people want in exchange.
As you're making your way over here, he just says, no, the orc stays outside. He can remain within hearing range. Have him lie on the ground at the outskirts of the tent, but you understand, of course. Could never get the stench out if we let him in.
And sit cross-legged at the entrance.
Okay.
Just aside.
if you have need of his expertise, just relay it to him.
Now, the men who are ill, what have they eaten recently?
This was going to be one of my first questions. We have only eaten our own rations, which we brought with us from the Imperial capital.
Oh, for fuck.
How exactly is it that this disease, which I have heard is foodborne, has gotten into the system of my soldiers?
I look at the others. I'm kind of looking for permission to sort of spill the beans. Not all the beans, but some of the beans.
I'll have each of you, if you would like to make an intelligence check, you can. Just to try to piece one little thing together.
Oh, I mean, it's obvious that it was because ran to the camp and poisoned it.
Okay, that was what it was for, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's why.
If you remember, when you went to when Edie was heading to the army camp, you went the other way and checked out the house. That's why she was going to the camp.
Yep. Alright. Well, I hate to... This at least puts my mind at ease. We could use your assistance in apprehending the culprits. We know where they are. We know who they are.
This is a sort of disease that has culprits, then.
Yes. We discovered a vial of something that we've been able to extract a treatment from. We don't know where they managed to get it, but I'm going to assume that they have intentions of weakening the Empire.
So then, it is as I always suspected.
Orc
sympathizers within the city
Nope.
have brought about this
sorry.
plague.
I'm sorry.
There is only one possible response, then.
If you would just take a minute, they are citizens of the Empire who spread this disease.
Make a charisma check.
Command speaker?
Yeah, I'll let you use it.
Shit.
I would swear to tell all truths.
Nothing but the truth.
He kind of leans forward and says, "Give me your information, then. I'll verify it. But, this is exactly the sort of thing that someone would say if they were trying to shift the blame onto a loyal member of the Empire, when they themselves were responsible."
Do not even fucking start, dude. Don't even. This will come around to bite you in the ass so fast if you don't heed our warnings. We're literally doing you a favor. We're going out on a limb here to do you and your men a favor.
This is why I need to verify.
Oh.
Will you allow us to come help you verify?
No, you will be kept here. You will be treating my men.
I just pull my blade out half an inch, grip it with my bare hand, and hold my bloody palm up and say,
I would swear to you, we only seek to end this plague and to see that the culprits are brought to justice. I don't care whose justice it is. They have gone against nature. They have gone against every individual in this entire region.
Give me a name.
In the background, while I'm just playing dice with one of the soldiers, it's like, wasn't it one of the great Imperium generals who, when he needed to suss something out, I remember we were taught of his great smarts of he did a sting operation where he lured out the deviants. Clever, like you Imperium are.
Make a charisma check, Thorold, to manipulate him.
Just loud enough so that the guy hears it, but...
He says that, and Goro Ata overhears and then says, "You, orc."
Sorry, me? How can I help?
Your history is poor, but not entirely lacking. It was post-Enva, back in the height of the Empire, some 70 or 80 years ago, when the Poe family was a bit more of a force than it currently is, who executed that particular operation. Yes, they feigned allegiance, brought paperwork proving themselves to be members of the same family line, agents sent by their own allies. An effective operation which led to a rather bloody arrest. You bring this up, I assume, as some sort of backhanded suggestion.
I was just thinking out loud, but now that you suggest such an, now that your grace brings up such an idea, we could leak out the information that we're expecting more food supplies to come, whether we say the from the Orcish groups, or we can make up another convoy, and then watch it knowing that at some point someone will infiltrate it and catch them red-handed. Or we could try and carefully leak out the information to only the strict few who we told it to, so that if it was poisoned, we would then be able to immediately know the short list of who was the traitors.
An interesting plan. He looks back at Stalzaros and Kitty and says, "What do you think of this possibility? Understanding, of course, that if we were to do such a thing, you would be coming as well."
Oh, would have it no other way. I think that plan could definitely work. Might be... I mean, depends on the route we want to go. It would be rather simple to go and say we are rather short-staffed and could use this individual's help protecting the food supply. If they turn us down and then later appear, then there's the evidence.
You complicate matters. You will not be the ones to leak this information if we go with this plan. You're too recognizable and too suspicious.
Yeah, we did kind of break into their place.
If we were to do that, we would inform the town leaders that we have secured an additional caravan of food that we have brought here at all haste from the imperial capital. Word reaches them that food is coming in the morning. Then, if someone tries to poison this food, we catch the suspects.
This sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Your pet appears not entirely useless.
Oh, I'm not useless at all, especially when I'm...
No.
Even me.
The green one, not the stupid one.
Hey, I'm green on the inside.
I don't even know what that means.
Go back to sitting cross-legged and looking in the other direction.
It's not very nice, huh, the world?
Then he looks over at each of you and says, "I'm somewhat surprised, but it seems we have an idea that might work for all of us. A sting operation, as you called it. If we do this, who are we looking for? Who is your suspect?"
The house of Po Vita Kuna. But
use Poe Denver's trick against the Poe House itself. There is a fitting bit of irony to that.
But also, if it's not her, then it is certainly her agent, Ini Kitsunage.
Her scale, then,
Indeed.
would not be surprising. We more militaristic people are often used by the hires up those powerful individuals. All right. Any further thoughts?
We would entrust that that knowledge stays with you and you alone. It's clear from the illness that's spread in your camp, Ini was able to make her way into the camp, whether unseen or aided. I can only speculate. So, if we can just keep the names out of it, so as not to arouse any suspicions beforehand.
Well, regardless, I'm going to have to send for more food, so it wouldn't be surprising, this exact plan. Yes, I can keep names out. I'll send men to gather your scientist, as you call him, and to bring some of these cures. While we arrange for this little operation, I ask that you stay here in my camp and treat my men.
Have you been supplied fireweed?
Fireweed?
Oh, goodness. Alright, we'll set up a distribution to get your men, the requisite dosage.
It protects against infection, then. I'll...
Mitigates it, gives them a fighting chance.
We'll commandeer some. You're working with the army now, son. Just say what you want and we got it.
We're still honor-bound to the constabulary. We don't want to cause any ill will with the townsfolk, and...
You won't, you'll be here.
No, that's... You can have this town be on your side, willingly or via force. If they're willing, they will see you as heroes. If they see you as conquerors, then you're going to be spending more resources, more men, just to keep this place in line.
You talk a lot.
This is why I got out of this hole.
We'll take care of the details. I don't need your advice on how to manage procuring such things. If it makes you feel any better, of course, we'll pay for the fireweed. Now then, see to my men. We'll organize this sting, as you call it, for the morning. And you'll be coming along as well. If it doesn't go as you say, well then I think it will be obvious who the culprits are.
And actually, make it seem like we're being held against not against our will, but against our will. We're not happy. Just make it seem like we're not too keen about being stuck here and not in the town.
Easy enough.
Don't want to make it seem like we're working together.
Yes. All right. He'll just take the backhand of his gauntlet, step out of the place, and just backhand Thorold across the face to give him a black eye.
Oh, that's not what I...
Thank you.
I'm sorry, were you saying something?
Thank you for showing the error of my ways.
Excellent. And you are now free to treat soldiers and to try and help out the people in the camp.
Alright, I'll try and track down the food that they ate and make sure that it's not other rations aren't wiggling.
Okay, yeah, I'll have you do an intelligence check as you kind of inspect those things.
Hey!
Alright, yeah, you're able to sort through the food and sort out food that is clearly contaminated and food that is maybe still okay. You know, she likely didn't have a ton of time here, she couldn't have gotten like all of the rations, and so at the very least, by doing that, you're able to start sorting out what seems to be still fine. With further testing, you can verify, but you have the sorts that you want to test right now. Let's see. What about the others of you? Other things you want to do in the camp while you're aiding the Empire?
So just to be clear, are we more or less going to be stuck here now for?
You're not free to leave.
I thought so. That's all good.
This has been made clear to you. So let's see. Things that you could do. Obviously, you could try to tend to the sick. That would be a wisdom check using any. If you've got any kind of healer type skills, you could do that. Further things along the lines of what Styles was doing, of checking out the food, looking around the perimeter, try and figure out how she got in. Anything along
I'll do
lines.
it. I'll work out. I'll see if I can study the area.
I'll let you do intelligence with Scout.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll check out the food with stars.
Okay, you'll have on Stas there. Going through the food. I'll have you do a.
I'm gonna eat.
Okay. Thanks, Lord. Araza.
Yeah.
Anything that you would like to do while you're here?
Did we discuss the kind?
You haven't discussed the kind yet, so yeah, you could bring that up.
Ooh, yeah, I feel like we should probably do that.
Okay. Yeah, you go to him. Kitty, how about you give me just give me a straight wisdom check. I don't think any of your things will help it. As you just kind of, as Stas shows you what to look for, you're trying to help him spot things.
Oh.
Stas, Kitty is not much help.
There.
Catcher like nearly got a biscuit that was in the no pile, like nearly toward in her mouth, and be like, nope.
Thorold, you go around inspecting and try to figure out where she got in, how she got in. Your best bet is over in this back area, where these sandbags piled up near the area, and it's a little bit of a blind spot with a couple of these tents. And so you point out to the soldiers the areas where there's some blind spots, so that they can be extra vigilant in case there's a return visit from a poisoner. And Raza, you go up to Gorata Shan, who looks over at you and says, "Took me a minute, but I believe you're demon spawn.
Yep.
I haven't met very many of your kind, but those I have been fierce warriors."
Oh,
Okay.
I'm so caught off guard by this compliment. I thought it was 100% going to be hate speech.
He's not racist against everyone.
That's good.
Mind you, I was halfway for him to then I would have loved it if he just then responded with like, "Yes, my grandfather and his great-grandfather had several of your kin's heads mounted from his hunts. Great honorable trophies to defeat one in battle."
Of course, your ancestors are all hideous monsters who should be put down, but
Yeah.
that should never be held against a person.
Right. So, I want to discuss something with you. I'm sure any great warrior can also acknowledge the importance of a capable healer.
Agreed.
I don't know how familiar you are with the kine that are encamped relatively close to Garakan.
I'm afraid I'm not very familiar with this region. Most of my campaigns have been in the south.
Ah.
I'm not familiar with the kind. What are they?
They're a nomadic group.
Demon spawn like yourself.
So what are the kind made up of, Joey? Like, obviously I've
Largely gray orcs.
but all of them?
Not all, but
Okay, so then
largely.
Say it's a combination of many different races. Mostly it is the nomadic lifestyle that defines them.
He nods along, saying, I've met some nomadic tribes. Most of the dragon spawn, in fact, are nomadic. Had some dealings with them in past. So this nomad group, they are healers.
I mean, certainly not all of them are healers, but they have extended some of their more capable healers the offer of having them setting up and offering aid to the city's already very taxed clinic and healing resources. They're also the individuals that are supplying the vast majority of, if not all of, fireweed that's being used as the very key source of treatment for this unpleasantness. They're already proving themselves to be quite useful.
And you are asking then permission for them to set up their clinic?
Yeah.
He gestures for someone to bring over a pen and some parchment, and he starts scribbling some things down on it and hands it over to you. Official permission on behalf of the Empire to set up that clinic.
That's a fucking joke. It could not be that easy, right?
Given, of course,
Okay, there we go.
given that this sting operation goes fine, and you yourself are proven innocent, and we catch the culprits.
Oh, we're still on that? Okay.
Yes,
You try to do a guy a favor.
I trust but verify is a policy of mine. Once we have verified that you are trustworthy, yes, my permission is given. We can certainly wait until tomorrow.
Well, I hope you prove yourself worthy of trust as well.
I understand your hesitance, but I am a defender of the Empire first and foremost. And as an Imperial citizen, you should know that my job is only to protect you from violent and unsavory elements, by any means necessary.
Well, certainly, I think the most violent and unsavory element is the undead.
I'm behind his back. I with distance, I just sort of, point to myself and mouth, "He means me."
I know, that's why.
As you say that, he's just kind of nodding, second only to the orcs, of course.
I must say I disagree, and I hope that things don't progress any further to the point where you need to be proven wrong.
We each have our individual orders of such things. In any case, the orc situation will be dealt with likely within a day or two, and then we'll be able to put our full force to cleansing the town of this undead nuisance. You have little to worry about. Your nightmare is almost over.
This is like talking to a brick wall.
Sorry,
Sometimes you can get the brick wall to sign off on necessary paperwork, but mostly it's just a pain in the ass.
I mean, I'm trying to be true to his character.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Even in the moments where I'm like, oh, he's being kind of reasonable, then you're like, oh, nope, there it is again.
After finishing this conversation, Araza, you're put to work as you've acknowledged yourself as being a member of this group of healers, doing some healing. So if you'll give me a wisdom check, adding tribe healer.
When there's a break, I will go up and go, "Demon spawn! I just thought you just got too much sunburn."
I don't get leather from the sun, baby.
Yeah, you spend some time treating some of the soldiers and doing a good job of separating out sick from well and keeping an eye so if anyone does raise, they don't immediately start killing the other sick people and cause a chain reaction, which is the last thing you want. People on watch and treating as best you can, and the hours of the day tick away.
I will at one point whisper, is it worth... might not be anyone we could message anyway, but is it worth trying to see if we could sneak Graveling out to message anyone? Or would that not even really work?
I mean, he's supposed to be a good little scouty boy.
It would probably work. I mean, Graveling
He's probably the only one of us that we could send off that no one would notice.
Sure. Yeah, Graveling could... I would say that Graveling could probably get out. Thorold, you've inspected and you know where the blind spots are, so you could easily slip a badger over the temporary fence. You know, it's an army camp. It's not a fort.
Yeah.
You know, they put it up in like a few hours. So you could definitely slip them out. In terms of messages, Graveling doesn't speak. You know.
No, I'm saying like
language, but you could tie a message to him and send him off to somebody. Yeah. Is there someone you want to get a message to?
But that was the only thing. Is like I'm trying to think is who.
I can pop us back out to the map to help remind you of the different NPCs and.
Oh, I'm gonna be so consumed with worry for him while he's gone.
I'm sorry. I understand. I'm sorry to suggest it. I don't mean to be.
No, it was the purpose for which he was designed. It just makes me increasingly worried now that we're seeing zombie beasts and stuff. I'm like,
I mean, I completely understand if you say no. I'm only suggesting it because he's the only one of us that could, like, if Kitty went off, I'm worried that someone would just go, "Hey, wait a minute, weren't there more of you?" sort of thing. Whereas,
little buddy could do it.
Well, the only question is there a reason to do it?
So the only thing the reason I'm thinking about it is if the plan doesn't work, I feel the big reason would be that they've been tipped off and possibly, likely by a lead Imperium fella. That's the only thing. If the plan didn't work, sort of thing, and that way we could warn people ahead of time that, like, you know, if we
just be careful in case the message gets intercepted.
yeah.
That's a good point too.
That'd be my only.
Maybe it's just an idea to think about for the time being, but keep it in reserve.
Would it be? Oh, never mind.
Who knows, Graveling?
I mean, wait, what would the content of the message be again?
Well, that's the thing is we haven't decided who or what the content of the message would be. It's just sort of if you can think of a message that would be valuable to send to somebody, Graveling would probably be the one to do it. Obviously, there's risk of messages being intercepted. There's risk to Graveling, and
if we wanted to get a message into the Kine, which is like on the outskirts of most of everything, and so he wouldn't have to actually go into the city itself. You'd still get it to kind of guaranteed allies, and maybe if it's critical, they can take the step of going into the city, since they were already kind of probably be doing that anyways.
I mean, I like the example I was thinking is like, say we send it to the Burgermeister or to the Kind and be like, if we are, you know, taken prisoner, we have them ready to spring the necessary thing we need to break out.
Neither one is a bad idea. But I think Kine are safer, and they're more likely to have someone that can interpret what animals say, since they're kind of like eclectic traveler people.
I mean, it's also the, like, I can't think of a sort of message that once intercepted might not tip off, if intercepted might tip off people.
What if we just wrote a message, say to send to the Kine, tied it to Graveling, but only send him off when if something went bad?
Yeah.
So that way we've got it all ready. He can run off the moment we need him to run off, sort of thing.
Yeah, that works.
Safety message. I'm not opposed.
Yeah, you take a few moments to draft up that letter of being like, we're being watched by the Imperials, we're at the camp, that sort of thing, and help. And so if you need to send that off, you have it ready to quickly slip around Graveling's neck and send him scurrying to the Kind to deliver that message. Or to whoever you choose. I mean, if you so choose, you could send it to someone else. As we turn from day 7 to day 8, you can't help but think, Araza, that you wonder what exactly is happening right now with the orc camps, as you saw the future, and it is an overnight attack on this night. Your messengers would have gotten there in time. What is happening overnight? And the answer to that question, as well as some other answers, I guess we'll find out next time. I think that's where we'll end tonight's session.
It's not a bad cliffhanger.
Not a bad cliffhanger. I'm excited to get to that, but
Thorold, you didn't die.
Yeah, you are sick, and presumably people are pumping you full of fireweed. You've sent for Lithram to bring what he has of that treatment. I presume one of those doses is going to go to Thorold, so that I can't roll Thorold dies on a d20.
Yes.
So that Thorold has maximum possible protection, as he is our ill person. And hopefully we'll have Sean next time, and I will save the results of so I'm gonna put the two circles around Thorold here. The results of his investigation and his investigation into the cure, because we'll also get follow up on that as we reach day 8 tomorrow or next time.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, I know this campaign is quite different from the other ones that we played, both in that we're using a completely different system, and I think in the sort of story structure, the way we've been doing it. What are your thoughts on sort of the story side of things so far? We'll talk about the differences in systems later, but what do you think on the way this one's gone?
Oh, definitely having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've loved it. I work best under pressure. You know what I mean?
I hate it. I love it.
No space for me to not pay attention to everything that's going on and really try to stay on top of things, because if I do, we die. You know what I mean? It really lights a fire under your ass. It really makes you very invested when it's like, hey, you got 10 days to live. Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
I saved one friend, and now my lead to my life's mission is about to fucking die.
Yeah. It also, maybe I wouldn't work to get answers as quickly. Maybe I wouldn't work to forge useful contacts and relationships as quickly. But now I'm like, no, you gotta fucking do it, and you gotta do it fast. Don't
Can't wait.
go around making a ton of enemies. You gotta be really finessey and everything, or else it's gonna be bad, real bad.
Yeah, this one. I mean, I sort of the concept for it is, I mean, it's a tense one. My initial thought was I would do this campaign in sort of arcs. And this is the first arc, and it's basically the 10 days to live sort of situation but lots of politics and lots of different NPCs and things like that. It's also in some ways the inverse of the last huge campaign we did for this arc, because that one was sprawling and you're going to all these different planes, and this one I've kept you in one little town. Or moderate-sized city for the entirety of the first part of this, with a little excursion to an orc camp here or there. But I hope that you are invested in the survival of the town and all of that you've gotten to know and care about the people here, and be frustrated by the assholes and want the nice ones to live.
Yep. Very much so.
And hopefully most of the assholes are even somewhat likable. Obviously, the culprits that you know of, you don't know their motivations. Probably regardless of what their motivations are, you're not going to like them, because what they did is bad.
Yeah.
That's some bad juju.
What we want to do is create an undead army. What's so evil about that?
I'll tell you this, that is not their goal. It's what's happening. But yeah, we might find more about that next time. That sting operation idea, that was interesting. I did not expect that.
It's a possible way to.
It was an interesting compromise. It was something that was like, oh, they would agree to do that, because their main deal with you right now is they believe you, but they don't trust that you are not the ones who actually did it.
Hmm.
So it's like, Initially, they were sort of like, we'll go verify it. We're going to keep you here while we check it out. If your story checks out, you can go. And we'll make the arrest. But yours is sort of like, actually, here's an operation in which, you know, they would actually bring you along because they also want to keep an eye on you.
Yeah. Well, also, it's, and, you know, it could go any way, but, like, if it doesn't work out and they don't come, then chances are that for us also eliminates whether or not the leader, whether he's just an asshole but still loyal to the Imperium, or is in on it as well, sort of thing. Because if there's only a handful of people who know about it...
Yeah, it's a good way to get some information. Yeah. It's also potentially another nick of time thing. Like, each of these moments since that last vision of the future, you've been on a string of days here. You had to immediately do something about the orc situation if you wanted them to survive. You got a message out to them faster than the attack had come, because the attack is coming tonight, but Riley and Sarah would have arrived the previous night, because you sent them the last day and they could travel at full speed, so they had a day to react. And then likewise, if you remember another thing Araza discovered when she checked out the future under Stas's spore guidance. The next day is day 8. On day 9, Povita leaves the city. So you are maybe catching them with right before they're about to head out. So that is potentially in the air for next time. We'll see if it happens.
I find funny at this time. It's just by coincidence. At the same time, I'm listening to the Critical Role's Calamity storyline, which is them basically doing a prequel story about the big destructive event that led to the world being the way it is. So it's like everything's happy and wonderful, but everyone knows out of character that it's all going to end horribly. They just don't know how.
Interesting. Yeah, this is sort of the inverse of, like, I mean, it's sort of, in some ways it's similar because but you actually know how it's going to end horribly, and you are trying to prevent it, and you can prevent it.
At least the future isn't quite set in stone, so at least
right, yeah,
options.
I mean, it's an interesting campaign, and I look forward to seeing the conclusion of this arc, and then we'll see where it goes from there. And hopefully Sean will be back next week. He's planning, from what I know, he was planning to be back next week, so that will be good, because you need your scientist to come back and say, "I've cured the disease."
Yeah, that would be.
That'd be super clutch.